you like how I just did that? I just totally blocked your face.
Nope, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Hey guys, we are here. We are hoping that you can hear us because we're hanging out at Lucky Perk. Thank you so much for being patient. Yesterday we had technical difficulties.
Maybe a few.
It is what it is. It is what it is. So, you guys know the rules. If you're here, when you guys jump on live, please, go ahead and post in the comments, shout out, whatever. Hi, let me know that you're here. And if you're watching the replay later, please go ahead and let me know that you're watching the replay. Appreciate you guys doing that, so I know who got a chance to see this. And I'm here with the amazing, sweet friend, the gorgeous Stacey Lytle. She is an absolute rock star. She is a homeschooling mama who is so great at what she does. She gets to go out and educate other homeschooling parents. Because, not just mamas. Dads too, right?
Moms, dads, kids.
There you go.
Gamut.
And if you guys have had the opportunity to hear Stacey speak here in the Treasure Valley, you're so blessed. I've been really blessed to get to listen to her speak. She's just a dynamic speaker. If you haven't had the opportunity, find an opportunity. She's absolutely fabulous. I just said you were famous.
Okay, we can go with that one.
She's famous.
Maybe not, but that sounds kind of fun, huh?
She's famous, and I apparently have pulled because I got her on my show. So, which isn't a show, it's a Facebook group, but whatever. So we're going to talk a little bit today. Most of us in the group have kiddos or we're around kiddos. We have nieces, nephews, grandkids, kids, neighbor kids, that we engage with. And it's summertime, so things get a little crazy. And I know at least for me, as a mom and as a nana, sometimes I confuse quantity and quality. And so Stacey's got some great ideas that she's going to share with us today about how you can really engage with your kiddos or the kiddos in your life this summer without feeling like, you're kind of burning the candle at both ends. So take it away. I just want to have a conversation with you. I'm so excited.
Thanks for having me, Krista. I'm excited.
Thank you for being here.
So when I think about being a mom, so I'm a mom to 7 kids. And they are my world. They are my everything. Well, my hubby is too. I should probably say that because that would be kind of rude.
He's not in the group, so
he doesn't know.
Say what you want.
Okay, so my kids are like really super important. And summertime is an interesting time for us too because we're used to this really, I wouldn't say I'm not a super structured homeschooler because we do a lot of things and I'm very spontaneous. But there is that schedule that we follow. So when summer comes, I think we have to be a little bit more intentional. And we need to make sure, and I don't even want to just talk about this in the summer, even though that's what the gist of this group is.
Everything we're doing in this group, summer's an excuse. Use it all the time.
Well, it is, because I think that those are things we need to think about. Building connections with our kids is the most vital thing we can do. That and building that connection with our husband. We've already talked about husbands. I could talk about that all day long too. So we're going to keep this short because I seriously do workshops that are all day long on this kind of thing. So this is going to be tough to be like, okay, we have a few minutes. So I'm going to do my best.
I'll keep her on track. I'll try. If it's really interesting.
Close your mouth. Quit talking. Okay.
Just elbow you. It's all good. The cool thing is that we can talk as long as we want to because, it's my page and I can do what I want. So,
and you guys can watch or when I get boring or whatever, or you have to stop and go take care of a kid. Cool. You can come back. So, one of the biggest things that I think we need to do as parents or grandparents or neighbors, whatever kids we're working with, we need to make sure that we are present, that we're fully engaged, and that we're truly interested. So one of the things that I teach a lot of parents when I'm working with them and they don't have that connection with their kids anymore, they've lost it somewhere along the way. And it's really easy to get that connection back. But what needs to happen is your phones, all of your devices, all of your things, they really need to just be put away because those are destroying our relationships. And that can be working too much included in that. I mean, all the things that take you away. And if you're a mom who works from home like I do, and owning a couple of businesses and on top of our homeschool world and all the different things, and I travel for speaking and I do different things. When I am home and when I am with my kids, they deserve for me to be engaged with them. They deserve for me to know that they're the very most important thing that day. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I went to Utah State University, and I was teaching. I spent one day with the youth, and then I spent 2 days with adults. And there was one at a vendor booth. So I'm at this. I'm at my table, and this mom comes up, and she's got all these questions. And we're talking, and her little one comes up and is like, "Mom, mom, 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 mom," wanting her attention. And she's like, "Whoa, I'm talking." And I said, "You know what? I am nowhere near as important as that child of yours." And she stopped, and she looked at me, and she's like, "Thank you. I never thought about that." And I said, "I am a stranger, essentially. That little person in your world is the most important person. I'm not." And so when we teach our kids that they're our priority and they're who we want to spend our time with, it makes that connection and it builds that bond. So that's probably one of my most important things that I want to share is make sure your kids know they're more important than your friends or strangers or someone in the store that you met. If your kids want to talk to you, listen. And the reason that I say listen and really listen when they're little is if you want them to talk to you when they're big, you talk to them when they're little. You listen when they're little. Because the stories they're sharing with you right now are the most important thing in the world. If they want to show you a Lego tower, freak, by all means, go look at that Lego tower. Because it is truly the most important thing. And we dismiss those things far too easily. So that's my first thing, is really, really be engaged. I think the next thing that this one's super important to me is our mindset as a mom. Our mama mindset is what I call it. And when we have the mindset that I get to do these things for my kids, I get to get up and make breakfast if they're little people. When they get big, you don't have to do that anymore. But I get to do that. I chose this life. I chose to be a mom. Yeah, I chose to have 7 babies. Crazy, I know. But I chose that. So shouldn't I be joyful about that choice? Shouldn't I show my kids? And going from that, think about the example you are to your kids. Are you worthy of emulation?
That's a really good point.
And really, and even more important than that, what are you teaching your kids about motherhood? What are you teaching them about parenthood? Do they look at you and go, "Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to grow up and be a mom. That's like the coolest job ever. My mom loves being with me." Or do they look at motherhood as drudgery and hardship and all the negative adjectives that we could apply to that? If that's the case, it's time to change that so that your kids look at it and think, "I don't want to be anything more important than a mom. My mom's a mom and she can do this and this and this and this," because of all of the attitude that we have. So when you're looking at your life, I want you to really think about those things because you are teaching your kids what's important.
Well, I totally agree with that because I know one thing, and for me, it's when I talk about self-care and relationships, et cetera, within the scope of coaching, talking and working with clients, is 90% of what our kids learn is caught, not taught.
Yeah,
it's caught, not taught. So you can talk all you want to as a parent. You can say whatever you want to say. Actually, do. That's where your kids get their education. So I couldn't agree more.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's so hard sometimes because we're too close to our own story, I guess, if that kind of makes sense. I mean, we get so caught up on what's going on with us. Sometimes it's hard to just kind of put that filter aside and really focus on kiddos.
It really, really is, but it's vital. So I have a lot of parents who ask me, how do you even know what to do with your kids? Like, how do you know what they want to do? So
I'm one of them.
It's super easy, guys. Ready, Krista?
I'm ready.
Super easy. So I sit with our kids, or my husband and I will, but usually it's me because he's pretty dang busy, and so we just make it work. But we make lists of adventures, things we want to go do, things we want to see, experiences we want to have. Now, I have maybe a head start on this because I've homeschooled for 23, 24 years, like my whole life, it feels like. Not really, just half of it, not even half. Okay, we're not going to talk about how old I am. We already did that conversation.
We just had a math conversation on our ages, so.
It's pretty lovely.
You know what? 50 never looks so hot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're looking good.
We're looking darn good.
Okay, so anyway, make your list of adventures, of things that you think would be great to do with your kids, and ask them, what do you want to do? Your kids will have the most amazing ideas. The nice thing about doing this is when you make that list, then you get out a calendar. And I know you love calendars. So you get out a calendar and you put those things on your calendar. The great thing about doing that is if you choose 1 or 2 a week, if you can do that, and most of us can, we can rearrange our schedules to spend more time as parents. Our kids need us and we need them. And I promise you, you'll be happier if you're spending time with them, and they'll be happier when they know that you want to be with them. So when I put something on our calendar and in color, they know that's their color, they're like, yes, I'm going to go
colored calendar, because
it's kind of important.
that's what I do. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited.
Okay, so you color in your time for your kids. The bonus of doing that is it's going to happen. The second bonus is gives them something to be excited about. They have something to look forward to. As adults, don't you want to know if you have a big trip coming up? Doesn't it get you excited? You're like, I can do all the things because I have something cool coming up. Kids are the same way. They're exactly the same way. And it doesn't matter if they're little people or middle people or big people. They're going to they all need those things. So having that list is really cool. But I'm also going to add this in. It's also super cool to be spontaneous. Okay, so here's a question, Chris, I'm going to ask you because you're the only one I can actually ask because I can't. My eyeballs are, they're old, so they can't actually see if we have anybody sitting here talking to us.
No, in all fairness, it's lunch hour, so I pretty much expected everybody to be on the replay, but that's okay.
That's great.
Post your questions below later, and she'll get around to it. She's in the group.
So here's my question. Spontaneity. How willing are you to just stop life right there on the spot for your kids? How willing are you to stick a swimming suit on and go out and swim with your kids?
Oh, I totally do that with the grandkids now.
Good. High five.
But I got to be honest though, and maybe some of you guys watching this will relate to this. Is I used to be like super fun, spontaneous mom when my kiddos are little, and you guys, my kiddos are now 18 all the way up to will be 29 on the same birthday as Stacey's, which I found out. So for Nana mode.
Yeah.
And I've got one due any day here in Idaho, but all the rest of them are in other states. And so we steal the grandkids, like a week at a time. But at least 2 of the older ones we'll get to have this summer. But I remember when my kiddos were a lot younger, spontaneity came a little more extreme easy. It was just easier. Grammatically incorrect, but whatever. It was just easier for me. I really wanted to do that. And then I know I really went through a shift when Chris and I got married because I went from being a single mom of 3 to a married mom of 6, and the house I was a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Well, my husband worked 12-hour days. I worked from home, 6 kids, 3 schools, 27 directions. You know what that's like, Mama. And so I became a drill sergeant, and so my spontaneity kind of died a little bit. And so now that is something I kind of struggled with, that whole spontaneity thing, because I still struggle with I should be at work. It's work hours. I need to be at work instead of just going, yep, let's do that.
So here's my thoughts on that. And I see a lot of people, and if I insult anyone, forgive me. This is just coming from Stacey. Doesn't mean it's anything. It's just gospel of Stacey.
I like gospel of Stacey. And if she says something that pokes you, maybe you need poked, because she pokes me every once in a while.
I think there's probably nothing that makes me more crazy than seeing someone post or ask the question of, what are you willing to give up now to have something later? Well, if it includes time with my kids, and I only have this pocket of time to raise all those babies and to influence them. And I am not giving that up. I'm not. I will give up partial days for that, but I'm not giving up my life with them to be successful in another area. Because to me, the most successful thing I could be would be to be an amazing mom and a rock star wife, because all the other stuff is just fluff.
Yeah, it is. At the end of the day,
none of it really matters.
Family needs to be, family should be your priority.
Yeah, it just really is. Those other things fill us up, like me getting on a stage and speaking or writing a book and publishing a book. Those things light me up. But they don't light me up really any differently than being lit up when I'm having those experiences with my kids and seeing them shine on a stage or doing their thing. And so I think we just need to make sure that we're willing to go and do those things. I will tell you, as far as me in swimming suits, and I bring this up because I know a lot of women who refuse. And I'm like, you know what? Your kids don't really care if you're a little bit overweight.
Yeah.
All they care
Wear
about
the
is
swimsuit, take the picture. Take
Totally.
the picture with bad hair, no makeup. I don't care what you look like. You should see some of the pictures I have of me with my grandkids. I'm just like, oh Lord. But you know what?
Yeah.
Take the pictures.
We have a convertible bug. And okay.
It's a cute bug.
We put the top down on that, and my hair is like this way, that way, and I'm like, I don't even care because I am making memories. And my girls will be in the back seat, or one in the front seat, and others in the back seat, and it's the coolest thing we could be doing. But do I look great afterwards? No, but you know what? They don't care.
She actually does look great afterwards. I've seen her.
You're too way too sweet.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so last couple of things, and these kind of go along with what I've already said, but we need to live life together. We need to be experiencing those things.
Amen.
Those types of things in life are so, so important. Your kids need to see you having fun, you loving life, you being that joy, because they're following your lead. They're going to do the things that we do. And if they see us thinking life just totally rocks, life's probably going to rock for them.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It really will. A super huge thing for me, since my children were teeny tiny and now they're all getting big. My last one just turned into a teenager. I was like, how
did that happen? When did that
I
happen?
thought I might have babies forever when you have 7 and you always have a baby. And you know, I still call my little girls my babies, and now they're 13 and 15, and I'm like, my little girls, and everybody's like, your little girls are taller than you.
I don't have any kids taller than me. All my kids are shorter than me. I was wanted to see which one would kiss me on the forehead first, and none of them do because I'm apparently a giant.
I only have one smaller than me. It's my oldest. All of my rest tower.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
One of my boys is like 6'3", 6'4". I'm like, how did this body create this child?
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, very big kids. Anyway,
we digress.
It's because we're friends and we have way too much fun. I think taking the time to explore and discover life with your kids. I always talk about it. Watch with glittering eyes the world. See the wonder that's in life, because it is out there if you see it. So if you asked my kids, what's my mom like? So I can't walk outside without looking up and noticing the clouds, the sunsets, the sunrises. When we go somewhere, I find treasures everywhere. So if we go out to the forest, I will have picked up many pine cones. Rocks.
I have them all over my house. My grandson collects them.
Yeah. So heart rocks, if you all have not been looking for heart rocks in your world, they're everywhere. You just have to look. So I teach my kids that there's love everywhere. You just have to go searching for it. So I find love everywhere we go. And so I have this pile of love rocks that we always look for.
That's cool.
So I want to experience those kinds of things with my kids. So another fun thing is planning family date nights. My husband and I are always on a date at least once a week. And if we can sneak in more than one, we definitely do.
Nice.
But we do family dates, and we also do dates with just our kids. Like my husband and I will take just a child or two. And especially when you have a lot of kids, you have to split it up because they need that win. And I think it helps. Or doing a daddy-daughter date or mom-son date, things like that. Those are really helpful to make sure you're building those connections and keeping up with life with your kids. So
definitely. And can I add something to that?
Yeah.
One thing, and again, I might be the only one in the group who experiences. I mean, you know, Chris and I've been married for almost 13 years now, and you know, all of a sudden I went from having junior high school to I had a kindergartner, a first grader, and a third grader, plus the 3 older ones. And it was so crazy, and just life kind of happened, and we had a really long season of, it was just nuts. It was just crazy. So, you know, if somebody's watching, you know, if there's somebody in the group other than me who's like, I've already screwed up. I've already not done this, not done that. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. You can start today. I don't care if your kids are in their 20s or 30s. You can start today to do those things. And trust me, it really makes a difference. I know one of the things when my oldest grandchild was born, when Maddie was born, and she's 6.5. When Maddie was born, I because I love my mother, but as soon as I had children, I didn't exist. That was my perception.
Oh.
That was my perception. It was all about the grandbabies.
All the babies.
And you guys know me. I'm all about the babies. But the first thing I did, I'll never forget it. I landed at the airport in Seattle, and Melissa was walking towards me with this bundle of joy. And I stopped and said, hand her over to Cole. And I hugged my baby first. I said, I love my grandbaby, but you are my baby. And
You
I
are my
always
baby.
make time. And she, that
Okay,
made
now
a
I'm going to
difference.
cry because I'm a crybaby, and
Oh,
I
sorry.
so agree. No, I
But
totally agree.
No matter how old they get, they're still your babies, and they still need that one-on-one time. I mean, and I get excited 6. So, I'm kind of excited. We had a family reunion planned this summer, the end of July, and everybody was going to converge, which I love, and it gives me panic attacks because there's like 20 of us in our family, not counting my sister, mother, dad, Oma.
Just the babies
Just
and
the
their
babies
babies.
and the babies. And I'm an introvert, so that's a little.
I
But I love
still
it.
have a hard time believing that one.
I really am an introvert. But
An extroverted introvert.
it's called radiant introvert.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
It's called radiant introvert, and basically, I love being around people, but then I have to go home and cocoon.
You know what? I think that most of us need that. Some of us just need it in bigger doses and in smaller doses.
I need a really big dose. but we had some schedule changes and new jobs and things, and so now it's one of the Wyoming babies and her 4 are going to be here the first week of for the 4th of July, and then we'll get to have the grandson for a few extra days, and then the end of the month the other Wyoming baby will be here with her brood, and then her oldest, my Maddie, will stay for the rest of the week, and then I'm going to fly out to Michigan in October. So it's kind of selfish, but I still try to, with kids in their almost 30s now, try to intentionally create one-on-one space with my kids, even though they're moms of they're already moms. So
it's super important. I have one married daughter and a married son, and then a couple off to college and different things. And same thing. My husband and I take time to just go and be with that one. And I think it's important. They need to know that they still rock our world. And like this tomorrow morning, 4 a.m., I'm on the road to, where am I going? Kentucky. Oh my gosh. So no one's, one of our boys is commissioning competitions there.
Awesome. I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't have anybody living there, thank goodness.
I didn't think you had a kid in Kentucky.
No, that might just make me cry. Yeah. No, they're all pretty close, which is nice. My furthest one right now is in Corvallis, Oregon. But it's just cool to know that I get to go and be with them. And I think that's another key point. You need to be your kids' biggest cheerleaders. They need to know that the loudest person in that audience is probably my mom. She embarrasses the daylights out of me, but I'm their biggest support, and they know that. And if your kids know that you think they're a rock star, they're going to be. They just are.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I know one of the things that I do this with the grandkids is I try and find a special little something that's just ours.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I have grandbaby number 8 is due any second.
and you're sitting here with me?
Well, she's here. And
okay.
The phone is not. Trust me, I'm all over it. If Rachel
so
calls,
you may just get
I'm on
me.
it.
She may be like,
yeah, I'll be like,
I'm
gotta go. But finding those little things, like I have my Maddie, my oldest granddaughter. One thing that we've started doing now is she's her mother's child, and so she reads by looking at the picture and guessing at what the words are, because she doesn't have the time or the patience to
sit there and actually read it.
Yeah, bless her heart. And so I went and got really pretty note cards, and I write it in really, so she can read it legible, and she gets excited, and then she has to sit down and read it to her mom, and then she has to write back.
Oh, sweet.
So, but I only do that with Maddie. Now, Audrey, my kiddo in Michigan, is a techie. She's 5, and she emojis Nana. So I will wake up. Here's me and the granddaughter. This is what she does. And, but look, you'll notice there's hearts. Hearts.
Yes.
She figured out how to do that.
That is so sweet.
She's smarter than I am. She's 5.
That's awesome.
Find that
The way you can
seemingly
connect.
little way to connect with your kids, because that takes me like 30 seconds.
It does.
And
I think we just need to make sure we're doing that. And it doesn't matter, again, how old they are.
yeah.
You know, if your kids are big, you can start right now. If they're little, oh my gosh, absolutely start right now. And just spend that time. But I go back to the key is you have to truly love your time with them. You have to truly be interested in them, who they are, what makes them tick. Because when you are, oh my gosh, they're going to know it. They're going to feel it.
Yeah, kids aren't stupid. I don't care how old or young they are.
Yeah.
If you're going through the motions, they know it.
They do.
They know it.
So take the time to love it, and you will build relationships. So I'm going to tell you one last story. So
Please do. We're doing great.
are we good?
We're awesome.
Okay, because I could talk for hours.
I would sit here and talk for hours, but we both have stuff to do today, so there's that.
Okay, so my oldest son just got married a month or 2 months ago now. Can't even remember. When that little guy was 11, one of my friends came to me and she said, "You probably ought to enjoy this now, because once boys hit 12, they're not going to hug you anymore. They're not going to want anything to do with you anymore." I was devastated.
I would have cried.
Well, that's exactly, I didn't cry in front of her. But when I went home, I seriously sobbed. I'm like, oh my gosh, how could I lose this connection with this child of mine? Like he's such a huge part of my world. He's part of my heart. How could he just stop wanting to hug me? So I just thought to myself, well, I'm just going to keep hugging him. I'm going to keep making sure that connection stays strong. Guess what?
He's a hugger.
That boy hugs me every single time he sees me, and so do all the rest of my kids, because I intentionally took the time, every chance I had, to acknowledge him. So, okay, I have to tell you one more story. I'm so full of
I'm not
stories.
going anywhere. Keep talking.
Good. So one of my boys was at a national competition speaking on a stage in front of a bunch of people. I had no idea what he was going to talk about. One of the things he talked about is, if you want to be happy, you get to choose to be happy. Well, this little guy of mine, he's my 6'3", 6'4", giant child. When he was a little person, he was crabby and miserable and just all the time. And I'm like, what is your deal? Like, I could make his favorite breakfast, and that morning he'd be like, I don't really like that today. Just wouldn't like it. So I made a sign and I hung it in our house, and I wrote, "How happy did you choose to be today?" And this hung in our home for years. And when we moved, it hung in our new home.
Nice. I love it. That's awesome.
It was just in the kitchen for him to see each morning, because boys, that's the first place they go, right? They're going to go to, maybe the bathroom.
They go to the bathroom, and then they go to
And then they go to the kitchen. So he was standing on the stage talking to this huge audience of people, and he makes the comment that we get to choose so much of our mindset, so much of our happiness, so much. And one of the comments that he made is, every single morning that I came downstairs, my mom would greet me with, "Hey, handsome, how you doing today?" And I was sobbing in the audience.
You lost it, didn't
Oh
you?
my gosh. Because I always, like, if one of my boys called right now, I'd be like, "Hey, handsome, how are ya?" That's just how
Parenting win.
yeah, it's just how I've always, because I look at my boys and I'm like, dang, I created you. You're really cool looking. You just look so good. And I love who they are inside way more than what they look like on the outside. But giving him that little tiny boost every single day without ever even thinking about it was huge for him. He said it was one of the things that helped him get on a stage and be who he was, because he had the confidence that, gosh, mom thinks I rock. I must be okay. So
Mom's not going to lie to me.
yeah,
I love it.
So connect with your kids. Make them your priority. Make sure they know that they are your priority. And then just have fun. Make those lists of things to do with them. Because who doesn't want to go on an adventure? And I could give you adventures for a lifetime of things to go do. I mean, seriously, there is no limit to the things that you can do. Be willing to take a day trip and find all the things around you that are interesting or things you want to learn about, things you want to experience, and take them. It's really rewarding, not just for them, but for you.
Awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that we had technical difficulties because now I get to hang
I
out
know.
with her.
Was that
super cool.
total bonus?
It was a win for me.
Maybe I did it on purpose.
I think
Not really.
she did.
I didn't, because that was super frustrating.
Yeah,
like, why won't this work?
You got seriously, because I have like my phone balances on this is how my setup is in my office. So my phone for the Facebook Live is balanced on top of my laptop, and because I have the pop socket, and then I have the screen live, so I can monitor all the questions that are coming in, and we are messaging back and forth. And here's what we're saying: ugh. That's what we're like, ugh,
again. OMG, why isn't this working?
But it's okay because it worked out. It worked out beautifully. So here's what I want you guys to do: post below and let us know what one thing Stacey shared today that you want to be able to implement with the kiddos in your life. If you have questions for Stacey, don't hesitate. Message her. Post the question below. She'll get back to you later. She'll check in the group later and see if you guys need anything. And thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Okay, one more thing. I got to say one more.
Go for it. Go.
I have to share this.
Please do.
Okay, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make as parents is we say, go clean your room, go do this work, go do that work. Key to being super successful and having all those things happen is work together. Teach them to work while you work alongside them. Same goes with serving with them. Serve other people with them. Teach them that. Because holy smokes, when they see you as an example that you're going to go serve your neighbor or a friend or an elderly person, whatever, those things are so lasting and so important. Play together, love together, pray together, all the things that you can do together, do them. When you involve them, kids want it to be needed. They really do. Even if they roll their eyeballs and are like, oh, yeah, I don't really want to clean the bathroom or, whatever. You fill in the blank.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. It can be fun.
It can be fun.
It can totally be fun.
We'll make it fun.
One of the things I loved, super loved doing last year, we grew this gorgeous garden. It was so incredible. And what was super incredible was the joy that my kids, especially my girls, really got when they would go out and they would pick things. There was just this wonder and awe that things could grow like that just from us planting a few seeds and watering them. The year before, we did sunflowers. Okay, I didn't look at the packaging very well. I'm thinking we're going to have a few sunflowers. We had sunflowers that were taller than our willow tree.
They grow for days.
Oh my gosh.
They're crazy.
We sure went out and measured their growth each day because it was phenomenal.
That's fun.
But just having those things that you experience with them to show them how amazing life and the world is a huge bonus. So that's my last thought for you.
Awesome. So you guys, thanks again for tuning in. We will, so here's the thing. Tonight at 5:30, you're going to hang out with me and Janelle Anderson.
And she's a freaking rock star.
She's fabulous. She's got an amazing message. I'm super excited that she's willing to share it in this group. So you guys go have a fabulous day, and I'll see you back here at 5:30. Bye, guys.
Bye. Did it in?
Yeah, it will in just a second. We're still here, guys.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't want to end. It wants to hang out with us.
On Facebook yesterday, and now
we can't get off.
Get off Facebook.